Hello and welcome to my introductory Pokemon Mutant Cube video. In this video I'll be talking about why I decided to make this cube, what it is, and how I run it. So my name is Maj, and I started making this cube about 3 years ago. It started off as a pile of about 100 to 150 cards and only had 7 types. It had normal, fire, water, lightning, fighting, grass, and psychic. It actually now also has dark and metal, and it's about 610 cards. So why did I decide to cube? I'm actually primarily a Magic the Gathering player, and I love to cube in Magic. So I wanted to find a way to draft with my siblings who aren't necessarily as into Magic as I am, but are very much so into Pokemon. So I was curious and I decided to Google how to cube in Pokemon, and I found this post. And the author discusses different methods of cubing, and one of the methods that caught my eye was mutant cubing, which I'll discuss in detail later. I also wanted a way to showcase my favorite cards of Pokemon and favorite archetypes. And what started off as quite a small project has obviously grown. I've worked on this for, like I said, 3 years, and it's quite a big cube now. So what is a mutant cube? First of all, I'll explain what a cube is, because I'm sure there's some viewers who don't really know what a cube is. So a cube is a set of cards designed to either draft or play sealed events, which I'll explain later. Cubes are designed however you want and don't necessarily have to conform to normal rules. So one of the rules that this cube doesn't conform to is how Pokemon evolve. So it's a mutant cube, meaning all Pokemon are able to evolve from any Pokemon of the same type. In this example, Raichu can evolve from Shinx, and Magnezone can evolve from Raichu. The only exception to the rule is that Pokemon EX cannot evolve. So this rule is quite handy because it allows flexibility. Cubes are traditionally singleton, which means that they only have one copy of each card. And by having this rule, you can kind of follow that singleton rule. And it also allows for very interesting synergies. So for example, Rotom, which has dual trans, lets you stock up on energies, and Raichu, who uses Explosive Thunder and does damage based on the number of energy you discard, will let you stock up on energy and then evolve to Raichu and then do a bunch of damage. So this isn't normally possible, obviously, because Raichu does not evolve from Rotom, but in my cube it does. There are some other rules that I have. Because you're only drafting a certain number of cards, it can be quite hard to construct a full deck of 60. So decks are 40 cards instead of 60, and because of this, games are played with 4 prize cards instead of 6. Challenges can also have sideboards of 5 cards. A sideboard is a set of cards you set aside, and in between games you can replace cards in your deck with cards from your sideboard. So for example, if I have a fire deck and I'm facing a water deck, if I lose abysmally the first game, in my second game I can sideboard in maybe like a weakness policy to increase my chances of winning. For uniformity, all weaknesses are ×2 and resistances are -20, and all instances of the text Poke Power and Poke Body are replaced with ability. This is just to make it easier for me as a cube designer to include cards that are older and don't necessarily have abilities or have the old weaknesses where they're just a flat damage. Okay, so the meat of the topic, how do I actually run my cube? So first thing, you have to set up the draft, and I actually encountered a lot of problems when I first made this cube. Sometimes the packs would have like 6 water Pokemon and no grass Pokemon, and if I was going for grass, it would kind of suck because I didn't really know what to do anymore. So I actually found this shuffling method from Magic the Gathering Cube subreddit, and it makes it so the packs are a little more consistent. So I've adapted from it. I don't run it completely the same because I have 9 types instead of 5 colors. And each pack has a guaranteed at least one of each type, and then a random element to it as well. So 9 of the cards are guaranteed, and 6 cards are random. Also, when I'm drafting in this, I actually have 2 different types of packs. There's the Poke Packs, which have 15 Pokemon each, and Trainer Packs, which have 15 Trainer cards each. They used to be combined into one pack, but when I introduced Metal and Dark, I found that the consistency was too low and people weren't really building good decks. So by separating it like this, the decks are a lot more stronger, and you're still drafting competitively and like trying to make a proper theme to your deck. So once you set up the draft, you shuffle it, you make your packs, you distribute it you distribute to each player 3 Poke Packs and 2 Trainer Packs, and then you actually draft. So for players who don't know what a draft is, you open a pack, take a card out, and pass 14 cards on to the next player. First you go clockwise, and then you keep continuing this cycle until there's no more cards left to draft, and then you open another pack, and you repeat it again, but going in the opposite direction. So I know this picture has 3 packs, but we do this 5 times because we have 3 Poke Packs and 2 Trainer Packs. After this, you can construct your decks and your sideboard. If you are screwed though, because sometimes if you're playing sealed, you just won't have the right evolutions. So if I have like 4 basic psychic and 1 stage 1 and then 3 stage 2s, I have something called a daycare. It's a pile of really crap Pokemon that you can take from. You can borrow up to 2 of them. It's just to fill out your colors, because if you really want to play Psychic and you did draft that or open a sealed pack like that, then you can include a stage 1 Psychic from the daycare and then build your deck. After this you just play however you want. It doesn't really matter. You can do round robin, tournament style, or just play for fun. There are different variants to playing. So one of the gameplay variants I introduced was Double Team. It's adapted from the official 2-2 variant, and it's not the same though, because in the official 2-2 variant you can only attack with one of your Pokemon. So this is an excerpt on the right from my guidebook, which I will make available for download. So Double Team challengers may have 2 active Pokemon at a time. The rules are the same except that both active Pokemon may attack each turn, but attacks are declared at the same time. Order of attacks are decided by the attacker, and attacks must be valid at the moment attackers are declared. So if you use the example with Rotom and Raichu, let's say they're both my active Pokemon. If I only have 1 energy on my Raichu, I can't use Explosive Thunder, but I can declare that I'm going to use Dual Trans. But if I do have 2 energies on my Raichu and one of them is Lightning, then I can declare that I'll be using Explosive Thunder and Dual Trans at the same time. Or sorry, not the same time, but I'll be declaring that I'm using them, and then I'll order it so that Rotom attack goes first. So I can use Dual Trans, stack up more energies on my Raichu, and then do even more damage with Explosive Thunder. Another rule is that both active slots must be full when possible. You can't have 1 active Pokemon, 1 bench Pokemon. So this guide is available for download and will be in the description. It goes over pretty much everything in this slideshow actually, so you can probably just download that if you're too lazy to watch. But we're already at the end, so yeah, feel free to use my cube as a guideline, make your own. Like, cube is definitely not mine, and nor is mutant cubing. You can incorporate your own archetypes. For example, I always wanted to try to get SP cards to work, but they're just too weak in my cube. I used to have SP cards, but they just weren't very strong. And having SP cards and SP matter cards, once you started drafting them, you kind of feel like you're obligated to draft all the rest, and it just doesn't really give much strategy to the actual draft process. By no means is my cube perfect. There are imbalances everywhere, and that's why I'm always working on my cube. So a cube is a work in progress. I've been working on mine for 3 years, like I said. Started off as about 150 cards, and now it's 610 cards. And finally, yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully I've inspired you to make your own cube, or even copy my own cube if you want. I'll be making more videos with my cube list, and that way you can see why I chose certain cards over others.